Hey, America. Welcome to the Take It Back show with Tommy and Tina here at the beautiful Attorney King Studios in Coronado, California. Today, our guest is U.S. Navy combat veteran Heather Clark. She has an amazing story to tell us today and a program that she's been involved in and all the other interesting things that she's involved with in her life, being a fellow veteran. Um, Let's see. Do you have any questions? I mean, you're always harping on me, so I got to find out.
Tommy, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why did you take a nap on the way down here?
Because I was tired because I work hard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. We'll let you nap on the way down. And
I was directing a TV pilot, and I was exhausted. I'm sorry.
Okay, Tommy is busy with everything in the world, and he doesn't have time for me to talk to me in the car on the way down to our studio. Yeah?
Normally, she will not be quiet, except I did say something to her when we hit the east side of San Diego. I said, we have to find a bathroom.
Yeah, that's usually the pit stop on the way down.
It is, because we know it reaches crisis mode when I hit there.
Yeah, but anyway, enough about us.
Anyhow,
we want to talk about Heather Clark.
But Heather, we are so happy to have you here. So happy. We all have mutual friends, a great group of veteran activists in the community, and I'm very proud to call you a friend. And I'd like you to tell us your story and tell us what you're doing.
Well, thank you guys for having me so much. I'm so excited to be here today. You guys are just so full of life. I love interacting with you, and even in meetings and stuff, you guys are so much fun. And we do have a lot of overlapping circles. It's funny when you get into the veteran entertainment field, how small those circles are. So eventually you're going to bump into each other.
Very definitely.
Yes.
Well,
so
it's a small world.
Yes. And right now I've got Lieutenant Colonel Steve Alexander, U.S. Army retired. He's a film producer, says, hi, Heather. And Travis, hello, Travis says hello.
Hey, Trav.
Hey, Travis, buddy. See you next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Trav's my buddy. We've done some other stuff in Nashville together, and I'm so bummed I can't be there. I was just there a couple days ago, but it's going to be amazing. Freedom Tour with, Chris Turner, country music star. He's a great friend of mine, and I'm so proud of what he's doing. So just another one of those things that we all overlap on and that we all help support each other. So a little bit about me is I grew up in Wyoming, in the mountains of Wyoming. I was raised by my grandfather and my grandmother, and he was a World War II B-17 bomber pilot. He was also a POW in Nazi Germany for about 2.5 years. So I grew up with the VFW and the events and knowing what a veteran was and knowing what it was to serve our country. And so he kind of inspired me to go on that path. And while I wanted to do it, I actually got married to someone in the Navy first. That's how I was introduced to the military lifestyle. I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved everything about it, even the family tying into the teamwork part of making the missions happen. And I looked at actually joining the Marines. I decided to wait a little bit. And when 9/11 happened, that's what really kind of pushed me right through the recruiter's door and said, sign me up. What can I do? I ended up testing high enough that I was tested into military intelligence. And so I worked for Navy intelligence, and I deployed out with SEAL Team 6 to Afghanistan for almost a year. And through that, I came back home. I got out because I had some family things that I needed to deal with. I lost my veteran community that I'd had for 14 years. I'd been in the military lifestyle. And one of the things that got me back on track was holistic care and yoga, because I had done it off and on, but it wasn't until I was out with SEAL Team 6 and we used to work out together that I walked in the gym one day and the team was doing yoga. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. You guys do yoga? And they're like, yeah, we have our own teachers. And so that's kind of when I really started getting back into it and seeing how it could apply to veterans and to warriors.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think a lot of guys I know, and things are changing, look at yoga and go, "Oh my God, I don't want to do that. That's a woman thing," or I don't know. There's all kinds of things that you look at, and unless you experience it, you really don't have no idea. And I see more professional athletes are doing yoga for strengthening and stretching and that. And when I first heard about your program about helping vets with PTSD through a military yoga program, I said this is pretty interesting, and I wanted to present it to our Us for Warriors Foundation in San Diego to see if maybe it's something that we could put into some type of program. I just think it's amazing, and you have quite a following, and that's all you.
And yeah, I've built up since COVID. I've been networking constantly. I've been traveling to a lot of veteran organizations and events. And the thing I found is this has been going on for about 3 years. I've been doing research. My academic background is in psychology and evolutionary anthropology. I'm also a graduate student at Purdue University for public health. And through all the different conversations that I had over the years with VA directors, secretaries of the VA, the thing that kept coming up is what you said. How do you get guys to do yoga? And one VA director in Louisiana said, when we get stressed out, we just go shoot something. I said, all right, I get that.
Right.
That's pretty close.
And so, and another conversation that stood out to me is my brother was a rugby player in college, and he said they brought in a yoga teacher. It didn't go well. He's like, you need to disguise it. So that got me started to thinking. I started going back through the PRT manuals for the Navy, looking at all the dynamic and static stretches that they do,
Right.
looking at the dry fire positions, some marching commands. And I thought, you know what? These are 80% of these stretches that the military already does are yoga. They just renamed them. And the dry fire positions and the breathing, the geometry of that is so similar to yoga. That's when it clicked. I was like, I need to use a soldier mindset to create a military yoga program, because public healthcare programs are just one big blanket statement. They look at the main population, they create a program, strategy to implement that public healthcare program, but it's only applicable to the public.
Right.
They're not coming, a lot of our soldiers' minds are still in combat. That's where you need to start. So that's when I came up with the idea of using my background in psychology and using psychotherapy methods, but instead of speaking with our voice, we're speaking with our bodies. We're speaking through movement. And I call out marching commands to get them into place. I call out dry fire positions that are actually trauma yoga positions. I use box breathing that we were taught in the military to teach them how to properly breathe when they're in these poses. And they're going through an exposure therapy. They're also going through cognitive behavioral therapy. They don't even realize it. I've had 200 active duty and veterans in front of me telling them that we're going to just warm up for a hike before we step off. I start them off doing jumping jacks, marine push-ups, then I'll have them do a couple stretches, and then I'll call out dry fire position. And they'll start doing it, and then pretty soon, before they know it, they're in a full warrior yoga pose. And somebody goes, "You're doing yoga, you tricked us." And I was like, "Yes, I did."
Ooh.
Somebody had the light bulb go on. Must have been an NCO. It wouldn't have been an officer.
Oh, of course.
I know.
Oh, and we had a Chief Master Sergeant, United States Air Force, Michael Meixner from Wisconsin, joined in. Mike, glad to have you here.
Hi, Mike.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, so that's just kind of what I came to the conclusion is you needed a different approach, that you needed to create a different kind of healthcare program.
Right, that's right. Now, tell me a little bit more about how you are taking this across the country. I know you kind of hinted to me a couple of days ago that you're going to be somewhere near us.
Yes. So this kind of came to me. Last year I really wanted to get focus groups and test this out, and because of COVID, I wasn't able to do that. But I realized I really needed to beta test this out, because eventually I want to take this to the VA for a full exposure therapy program that has to be done in a controlled environment. So I thought the best way to do research is just to get out there. So I sold my house in New Mexico. I'm hitting the road in June, and I'm going to do the grassroots approach. So I'm going to be traveling all over the country from sea to shining sea. And I'm going to be stopping at VFWs, American Legions, Irreverent Warrior Hikes, different veteran nonprofits, and I'm going to be teaching this program. And the very first one I'm so excited about that I just found out, we're going to be doing it right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. My VFW is Stones River VFW in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And my brother, Andrew Farr, I'm giving you a huge shout out, brother. He's a Tennessee State Chaplain. He just got his permission to have the very first event on Stones River Civil War battlefield. And so we are going to have it early in the morning. It's going to be filmed by a veteran film production company. We're going to go out there, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Andrew's going to give a history lesson on the battlefield. I'm going to line everybody up in formation. We're going to do the class, kind of give them a mission briefing of what they can expect. And then afterwards, we'll have a sit rep, kind of situational report. This is what you can expect from doing trauma yoga. We'll actually have a safety officer going around just like we do on the range, because trauma yoga can really trigger some pretty strong emotions. And so we'll have everybody monitored. And then when we finish that, we're actually going to take a walk through the battlefield and just chat and talk. And then eventually we'll end up at a brunch. So we can just, break bread, talk. I can get some feedback from the guys and the sisters that are attending. And that's going to be the first one on June 5th.
Oh, that's amazing. One question I have for you, and I look at it from two lenses, both being military and public safety career. Have you looked at doing anything like this for those first responders who deal with very similar situations, many of which we see play out daily on television days?
Yes, and that's something new that's actually, we're building the website right now with my branding guy. And when we were making the mission statement, I said, I don't want to just pigeonhole veterans. I want to include first responders. So a lot of them are already veterans, first of all. Absolutely. And I said, second of all, we deal with this on deployment and then we come home. Right. First responders deal with that kind of traumatic situation on a daily basis. And so absolutely, eventually I will be including first responders and doing classes. A lot of the classes are applicable to them. And even a sheriff in Wyoming reached out to me and said that he wanted to learn more about yoga. So when I go home to visit yoga, I'm thinking about stopping by his sheriff's department and teaching all of his sheriffs.
That's a great thing to do. Now, how do people find out where you're going to be? I mean, I'd like you to come to Southern California, hopefully soon. But I mean, it's like, is it just something that you've arranged with the VFWs and the American Legions, and they announce it?
So we're working out the schedule right now. The actual website should be up by next month. California is on the list. I will be there sometime in June because one of my best friends from the Navy is retiring as a senior chief. So I'm definitely going to be there in June to see him. And I want to stop in. And I had talked to Tommy about possibly coming to the Hollywood post, the American Legion post there, and teaching a class. And some of the locations, including California, I'm going to offer a few more classes the next day that are a little bit more slow roll, just kind of like basics class, meditation classes, restorative yoga that's extremely slow with pillows and stuff like that. So it's not all hardcore yoga stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've got a friend of mine who, the airline stewardess, and she said, well, you got to come to my yoga classes. And I'm going like, that's easy for you to say because there's nothing to you. And for me, I felt intimidated to even think about it until I first met you. And then I thought, well, I could do a program with you because we're peers and we're in the coming from the same place. And I'm sure there's other veterans and first responders that would feel that same way too. You have a connection. I know many of us as first responders have gone through the post-traumatic stress debriefing after critical incidents and things like that, or have gone to special therapy sessions after extremely traumatic incident. And the problem, like you had articulated too, was that it's clinical, and the people who you are dealing with or talking to have no concept of what you're thinking or talking about. And I can remember specifically one time we had a really bad incident, and they called us all together at 1 a.m. To have this session, when everybody, the only thing they thought about is wanting to sleep, but it fit into the counselor's schedule and also into the cities, so they wouldn't have to pay us overtime after 7 a.m. And we got to get away from that mindset and really deal with the people involved, and not make enemies out of who should be the people taking part of this.
Well, a lot of that has to do with my mentor was the Secretary of the VA, John Garcia, who got me started doing this. And a term that he created and said quite a bit was vet speak. We know how to talk to each other. We know how to interact with each other. We know the lingo and the abbreviations and all that stuff. And so that's how I speak during class. There's a trust layer from a veteran teaching another veteran, that you cannot get from a civilian, no matter how hard you try. You're just not ever going to be able to replicate that. And so that's why veterans teaching veterans any skill set just works better. And so, when I'm like yelling and screaming at them and stuff like that, they actually enjoy it, because that's familiar to them. And eventually take them down into it's more slower and like a regular yoga class. But that's what they are used to. That's what they want to hear almost. It's almost like they feel like they're back in the military a little bit. And I'm able to speak to them like that. And because I was also a military spouse and ombudsman, which is a family representative, I can kind of see both sides of it. And so it's strange. I have people all over the country that I just meet that just tell me their whole life stories. And I feel blessed that people feel comfortable with me enough to speak about, such personal things. And I've really found a connection with veterans. And I gave up my life, basically. I gave up my steady government job. I sold my house to do this. That's how much I believe in it. That's how much I want to help my veteran community, because I can't stand by when veterans are in waiting rooms and in parking lots at VAs killing themselves. It's unacceptable. And I cannot stand by and let that happen anymore.
Yeah, what you're doing right now means a lot, because our veterans a lot of times don't want to go and get the traditional help. They don't want to go, I don't want to go see a VA, counselor, that's just bad. Everyone, my guys are going to think I'm a wuss and I'm going to be a pussy. And, with all due respect, they're not. I mean, honestly, they're totally not. They can go through hell and back on the battlefield, and come back and not know what to do. And having something that you're doing is very beneficial. And I find that an amazing thing that you're doing. But I do have a question about being a woman in the military. I mean, far too many times we have just talked about, our guys. But we have women who are combat veterans, and we need to make sure that they are taken care of as well. So how do you feel about, reaching out to the women veterans out there as well?
I have a huge support from the female veteran side as well. A lot of them already do yoga. A lot of them already know that. Westernized yoga is female. Traditional yoga is actually male. I am going to eventually include an MST class, because a lot of them don't feel comfortable being in class with other males. And so I will eventually offer that as well. But I have a huge support from the female veteran side. And, when I'm helping our brothers, I'm also helping them, because I'm changing their mindset on several different levels. And a lot of changing someone's mindset is educating them. Part of these classes is I'm educating them on their nervous systems, on the psychology of it. Why this works when no other fitness can work is because yoga positions can access parts of your nervous system that other fitness can't, and they can repair it. Their breathing can repair it, and increase neurotransmitter activity when it's needed to calm down your brain. When they get educated on the basics of that, that's when they can see that, oh, it's not a weakness. You know, your brain's an organ just like anything else. It can malfunction. My brain's just malfunctioning. What do I need? What kind of tool do I need to fix it? Yoga is just one tool that they can use to help fix it.
That's really good. I know that it's quite an experience that you've had. You've given up your soldier house, you're relocating, and you are going to go countrywide. And I think it's amazing. I look forward to you coming to Southern California. That's for sure. I've done yoga a few times. I can't say I'm a qualified yoga person, but I have done it, and it's very relaxing, and it keeps you focused. It keeps you your mindset. It's like you kind of let go of everything else, and it keeps you so focused that you forget all the crap that's going on in your life, and you are just able to breathe. And that's like one of the biggest things, is just to breathe. I tell my friends that are going through conflict, just breathe. Just breathe. Yeah. So
and it's all about slowing your roll. Give yourself that time that all that stuff going on in your head can just like mellow out. And even when I teach meditation, I don't say clear your head. I never say that.
Right.
Let your mind go where it wants to go. Mm-hmm. Maybe it needs to process some stuff. Let it do that.
Right.
That's cool. That's fine. And the cool thing about doing yoga is they call it the yoga high. You just like walk outside and the sky is bluer and the birds are chirping, and you just feel like when you walk out on the first summer day and you feel that sun hit your face.
Right.
Just that warm feeling. That's what you get when you come out of a long yoga class. And people get hooked on it.
It's incredible.
Well, I understand you're going to have something going on in Nashville in May, which I really hope that I can get to, because you're not going to be here next week.
Yes.
Why don't we talk about that?
Oh, this is so exciting. So I got asked by Vet Radio Syndicate to have a new podcast show, a wellness podcast show. And I thought, well, if I'm going to have a wellness podcast show, it's going to be cool. It's not going to be like boring stuff getting on with the doctor and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I need a good hook into this. So my friend Chris Turner, shout out to Chris Turner, country music artist, all of our friends, an amazing musician, Marine veteran. He did a song with Randy Couture a couple of years ago called "If You Drink, Come Drink One With Us."
Right.
And when Chris first heard that song, he said what he envisioned was a Marine that was suffering with PTSD, that was drinking a lot, and he got into his Jeep and he drove and he came across a VFW. And he ended up pulling in to the VFW and having a drink with them. So that was the premise of the song, is if you drink, don't drink by yourself. Come have a drink with us. So I called Chris and I'm like, I got this idea. I want to have a live podcast show every Wednesday night during happy hour called "If You Drink, Come Drink One With Us." He's like, I love it. Let's do it. And so that spun off a whole thing where the very first episode, we're going to be in Nashville filming at Bold Patriot Brew House. Chris is going to be the first guest, and hopefully Randy Couture is going to show up. I'm hoping that he's going to be able to make it. And after the podcast is done, we're going to do the next hour. We're going to do a shot to the fallen. And then the next hour is come have a drink with Heather. So people can actually come sit down and we can chat and hang out.
Well, I definitely want to try to make it to that one. I think it'd be great since we can't do it next week.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, we're just hitting on Nashville here. I want to bring up that next week, Tina and I are going to be in Nashville, and on August 30th at the
April 30th.
April 30th, whatever. I use a Common Core math.
Yeah.
And April 30th.
I love you, Tommy.
I love you too. We're going to be at the Bold Patriot Brewery in Nashville.
Right.
With country star Chris Turner, a friend of all of us, helping him with his Freedom Tour 2021 to bring awareness and train for PTSD throughout the country. There's going to be we're going to do a little spot from there for our Take It Back show and do a number of things. But Chris is a great American patriot beyond being a country star. And we're going to have Danny Rococo there with her great organizations, Devoted to a Soldier. Travis Parkington's going to be there with his Oscar Mike Radio, and we're going to have a whole bunch of people there. So,
Right.
So watch our channel if you can. Come to Nashville. It's going to be, like I said, at the Bold Patriot Brewing Company,
Right.
which I have to give a shout out to two dear friends of mine, Todd Hood and Galen Walken, who own the brewery that used to be in Norco, California, about 4 blocks from my house. So we all know one another. It's a small, small world when we get into the world of entertainment and this type of thing.
I was gonna say,
You guys are in for a treat because Chris is one hell of a live performer.
oh,
You guys are going to be blown away.
yeah,
I've watched him on TV, and,
Yeah.
and yes,
yeah,
definitely.
he's definitely incredible. I love the fact that he's a veteran. Along with Crosswinds Foundation, they have the. This is part of the. What you got there? Somebody saying going to be a great
Cindy.
time. Oh, Cindy. Oh, okay, Cindy. Cindy calling from. Where are you, in Washington or something? Anyway.
Why do people get on my case? It's
Well,
like,
okay, so let me go back. Crosswinds Foundation, an incredible organization. They have the Warrior. God, Travis, I'm like, are you still there, Travis?
yeah, he's there. He says it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. I see that. But they actually have a curriculum, Warriors Hope curriculum, and it's a training program, 10 weeks. And this part of the Freedom Tour 2021 with Chris Turner, they're going to kick off these classes. It's like a 10-week course to help veterans and their families. And it's an incredible thing to be a part of. So, yes, Warrior Hope.
It's going to be a grassroots
Right.
program that through this hope to set up at VFWs and American Legions across the country, give them the training to set up their own programs for PTSD treatment, involvement, and education. So we're on the cusp of something great right now. I can just feel it.
Yeah, and because music is universal, everybody's going to love Chris Turner. They're going to love the fact that he is a veteran, and this is definitely something that he can do with his brothers and sisters in arms. So
yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off there, Heather, but we kind of got off on this little tangent. I thought while we were talking about it, we'll bring that right in, since it's all going to be at the same place.
right.
And it's funny because I didn't realize that Chris was doing the VFW tours when I had decided to do the VFW tours. So we're kind of on opposite coasts, kind of do the same thing with, different approaches. But, like I said, it's all tools that you can use in your arsenal: music, actual curriculum, yoga, everything that we can put out there possibly to help, we'll do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Tommy and I also say, even if we can just help one veteran, it's worth it. So
Yes.
we all get together and, make it easier for veterans to come out, do yoga, do training, do, something athletic or musical. They're going to know they're not alone.
No.
It's that cumulative effect that, so many of us, it's going to make an impact and move that needle forward. And I really see that number coming down and great things happening for our veteran community in the future.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, we're about at the end of our show here, Heather. But right now, I want you to say how people can get a hold of you, follow you.
Yeah, any links that they can get a hold of you. If you have an email address, they can find out what's going on with your tour.
So the website is not up yet, but you can find me on Instagram at Merica Flex is the name of the company, Merica Flex. It's a wellness company for veterans and first responders. Eventually, I will be putting the tour dates out there. We actually have a specialized custom T-shirt. I'm cross-branding with Grunt Style. That we have this amazing T-shirt coming out for the Summer Yoga Tour, but the dates will be posted soon. And we'll be getting content out there. We'll have a YouTube channel that will not only have snippets of me teaching yoga methods, but I'm pulling in other veteran yoga teachers to also teach classes on there. So veterans will be able to access it digitally, even if they can't attend some of the events.
Oh, that's incredible.
And through the tour, 10% of all the merchandise sales will go back to my VFW.
Oh, that's incredible. That's an amazing thing. We appreciate you. We are so happy that you came on to talk to us today. We love what you're doing out there. I think that when we get more people out there to recognize that this is a problem, but it's not a problem, we can help people through it. And like I said, just one, even if we just get one, it'll be worth it. So,
because it breaks our heart when we lose one.
Yeah. Yep. Boots on ground.
Yeah.
Known too many.
We've known way too many, and it's become personal, and we need to make sure that we band together to make a difference. So, but I'm going to say this is the end of our show today. I really am happy, Heather Clark, that you are here. I hope to have you on here soon again, next couple months or so, find out how the tour is going. So anyway, thank you for listening to the Take It Back show with Tommy and Tina. I'm Tina. He's Tommy.
TNT, we're dynamite.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors as well. That would be Attorney King. Hi, King.
Hi, King.
Sequan Casino and Resort.
A beautiful resort, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We were just there last weekend. Indian Motorcycle of San Diego.
Rome.
Yeah. The gym here in San Diego. And IB Fitness. Hi, Marina.
Marina,
anyway,
sweetheart.
We are so happy to be here. We are so glad to have you, Heather. And we will talk to you soon.
Everybody take care, stay safe out there. Watch us on the IQ podcast channel, and watch us next week from Nashville with the Freedom 21 tour.
Absolutely. So remember, it's your life. It's time to take it back.
And God bless America.